Hey guys, M2 Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series X-Men Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure Wave. This is Siren. As you can see here, she does come with one half of the tank piece for Bonebreaker, an extra set of hands, and of course no screaming head sculpt, which is a big fail on Hasbro's part, because why would you have a Sonic-based character without a screaming head? I mean, her father, Banshee, you know, that figure came with a screaming head. But for whatever reason, Siren does not. That's kind of an interesting choice. You know, it would have been nice to have a second head or just the screaming head, which, you know, the screaming head may not make sense in every situation, but still I think would have been better. We get an X-Men logo up at the top. The corner says Build-A-Figure Bonebreaker, Marvel Siren. Side artwork of Siren looking very good there. And I believe this is David Nakayama's artwork. Back of the package, we get that full look of Siren, and the bio reads, inheriting her mutant sonic scream from her father, Banshee, and raised by her criminal uncle, Black Tom Cassidy, Teresa Cassidy forges her own heroic path with XFactor as Siren. So, let's get her out of the box. Okay, so here is Siren out of the package, and the figure is okay. It uses the updated Shriek body, so we get the double-jointed pinless elbows, double-jointed pinless knees, which are great. We have these interchangeable sets of hands, just kind of these open gesturing hands there. And then she has this soft goods cape, which is really funky the way they did it. And I'll spend a lot of time probably talking about that as we get into the close-up, so you can really see what's going on. It's kind of a pain in the ass to work it. Like, you would think they would do something like what they did with Banshee, to where you just kind of have the arms out and you can just kind of have it open, you know, as she would use that to fly. But they didn't. It's really strange, but we'll kind of push her off to the side. We'll get the hands out of the way. We'll take a quick look at the Build-A-Figure piece, and this thing is kind of crazy. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be, first of all, because, I mean, look, if you stand it up, look how tall it is. It's almost the size of an action figure. I just didn't think it was going to be this large, and that's pretty cool. There are no wheels, so it's not really going to roll or anything like that. And this is it's a little bit of a rubber, actually. Will that move? No, it's kind of rubber track, is almost as if it could move. Could it? It does not, but that actually is like a rubber tread. That's kind of cool, but there's no wheels, so it doesn't really roll, but it's quite large. So, you know, the pieces that came with Sabretooth, these are the pieces that are going to come out, you know, they're going to fit together like so. And then some of these pieces actually only fit in a certain way, which is actually kind of good. So, you know, there's no instructions that's going to come with this thing, but at least, you know, pieces will only go in like certain ways. Like that. So, you know, it's going to fit in there all nicely, and Bonebreaker is going to be quite large, and it's going to be pretty impressive. So I'm getting really excited to finish building this. Hopefully GameStop will get the rest of the wave in. I know I heard Big Bad Toy Store was going to be getting in Havoc. Unfortunately, I didn't pre-order with them, so I don't have any other figures coming. I only have Siren, Sabretooth, and Wolverine, so hopefully the other four will be coming soon. But let's take a closer look at Siren now. Okay, so here's an up-close look at Siren. The head sculpt looks pretty good. The problem is it's just a straight face, nothing going on. In order for her to use her powers, she's got to be screaming, so why would we not get a screaming head? That just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I get it that, you know, if you're just going to have the figure pre-posed standing there, then a neutral face is kind of going to work. But with her power set, that's what we should be getting. The same thing with Shriek. We didn't get a screaming head with Shriek. So the Sonic powered female figures that, you know, have the Sonic powers, excuse me as I'm trying to fumble through that, they should have like an appropriate head sculpt to reflect that. And I think it was my boy Ruckus that had mentioned that to me, that we got those figures and they don't have screaming heads. So that's just unfortunate. Like, it really should have. But the head sculpt, again, does look good. She's got the orange, red hair. It looks like there's a little bit of orange paint in the hair to kind of bring out some of the details. So that's pretty cool. Looking at the green and yellow, not a whole lot going on right here at the ankles. That's painted green, yellow over the green. We get these little, kind of these ankle things to kind of show the boots. These are just like floating pieces. They're on there pretty tight, but you can kind of adjust them around a little bit. Yellow hands for the gloves, a little bit of yellow paint on the shoulders, some green. We get the X logo there. Yeah, so the cape is funky, man. It's cool, like, when her arms are down. Well, not even, because look at how, like, that looks. So the way they attached it at the shoulder, both shoulders, and so they'll move with the arm, or it'll stay, I guess, in place when you move the arm, which is cool. But then, like, when you have an arm out, there's, like, no give to it. When you really want a little bit of give, and then it just kind of always wants to stay at a certain kind of angle, and it really, like, throws it off. Like, it should be, like, laid out, and it just doesn't really want to. Like, it keeps wanting to spin back around because of how tight it is at the shoulder. It just doesn't allow any give. You see how it just keeps wanting to wrap around? Like, it's a little frustrating to work with, because you really would want it out like this, right? So if she's flying, she's screaming, she's doing her thing, you want it to kind of stay out like that, and it just wants to keep flowing out. I think they should have just not done it at the shoulders, maybe like one point in the back, but not two. That's what's really throwing it off. That's just unfortunate. You know, the weird upper torso with the two big ass peg holes. We saw that with, like, Invisible Woman, and then I think Binary had it, or whichever figure. It's just kind of weird. Like, why not create a peg system to hold this in place right on the back, so it would kind of flare out the way it should, instead of constantly wanting to do that and go back. So it's just, you know, it's a cool concept, and I like that, you know, we got the soft goods for it, but it's just tough. And then this is on the outside, and this is the good look. You would almost want that on the inside, so as you display it, you would see the dark green and the yellow, as opposed to just the inside of the fabric. So that just, it kind of sucks, but I mean, I kind of get what they were going for. It's just, man, it's just really tight in there, and it just doesn't want to hold. Like, it just keeps going around. Like, if you guys already have your Siren figure, let me know in the comments below. Does it keep wanting to do this, or is it just mine? But anyway, let's check out her articulation. Okay, so let's see Siren's articulation. So she can look all the way down. She can't really look up, even though her hair is all, like, off to the side, like it's blowing in the wind. She still can't look up because it's going to hit her back there. You get a full rotation, you get some pivot going on in there, and the head does sit pretty damn high on the ball peg, which has been a problem for a lot of the female figure. Look at this. See, it's all wrapped around, like, tangled and stuff. It's, well, see, like that looks kind of cool, actually, if you want to just leave it like that. But anyway, the head does sit really, really high on the neck, as you can see there. I guess it's not too bad when you look at it straight on, but having it in hand, you could just know that it sits really high on there. So the arms, you can get the shoulders to go up and out quite a bit. You can do a full rotation in there, so that actually works out really well, even the way kind of the fabric is, since it kind of will stay independent of the way the shoulder moves in there, unlike like the shoulder pads that they've been doing. So that is pretty cool. There is an upper, you can't really see it. There is the upper bicep swivel in there for Siren, as you can see there. And again, double jointed pinless elbow, so you can get that much bend there at the elbow, which is really nice. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge, and she has, again, the fists and the open hands that she comes with. And here we have the torso piece, the torso rocker. So she can pivot to her left that much, she can pivot to her right that much, and then you get a swivel at that diaphragm cut. Coming forward is very, 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 very little. Going back is actually a fair bit amount, as you can see there. Legs go out that far apart, which is pretty good. She can kick forward that high, which is really good. Leg goes back a little bit. You have an upper thigh cut in there. Solid double jointed knee that is pinless again, so good bend at the knee. No calf swivel or anything like that. But my left foot doesn't like to hinge. It feels very rubbery, but I can show you on the right. You get a little bit of hinge down, you get a little bit of hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So double check yours. Maybe your left foot's kind of funky like mine. It could just be mine, be one of those things. So there is Siren's articulation. Okay, so here's a side-by-side comparison to her father, Banshee. This is an old Hasbro figure. It is not a Toy Biz, but it does reuse some of those Toy Biz parts from back in the day. And I think this is Dwight. They always tease this quite a bit with Dwight, but this was like Dwight's first 6-inch figure that he had worked on for Hasbro, Marvel Legends. And it's not a great one. At the time, I wouldn't have called it terrible or anything like that. At the time, I'm sure it was really good. You get all those different points of articulation, all of that. It's just kind of how some of those joints look, the proportions of the torso, super, super narrow, and things like that. I thought it was pretty cool how they did kind of the cape design where it pegs into the arm, pegs into the torso, and then pegs into the leg. That was actually pretty cool, and it was soft goods, so that was not bad. It's just the body was a little bit funky. The head sculpt, not terrible, but, you know, at the time, that's kind of what we were getting. But, you know, we need a new Banshee figure, and for whatever reason, we haven't gotten one. But we have Siren, so I guess next best thing. But at least Banshee had a screaming head, where Siren, unfortunately, does not. So it's just a little too bad. But they kind of look good together. Not quite the same greens. Yellow's not quite the same. It's a much lighter yellow, where this is a darker yellow. Lighter green versus a darker green. But it's pretty cool to have the two nonetheless. But a new Banshee would be really nice. And of course, the Bonebreaker wave so far, we have Sabretooth and Siren, the only two figures from the wave that I have reviewed. Next up will be Wolverine. And then after that, who knows, until some of those other figures either start showing up through GameStop or through other retailers. I do not yet know. So there we have that. Not sure when any of those other figures are going to be coming out. E. Rivera 94 has reviews of almost the entire wave, I think, at this point. I'm not sure where he got his set. So be on the lookout for those, for his reviews, if you want to check out reviews right away. And then come back to my channel when I eventually get the other figures. Who knows when those will be. But solid X-Men wave, I think. The Build-A-Figure is definitely going to be the highlight. You know, another Wolverine, okay. First appearance Sabretooth is cool to get a first appearance of, you know, a popular character. Not the Sabretooth people really wanted, I get it. But still pretty cool. The Vulcan figure will be the highlight, another highlight. Havoc is pretty cool because of those effect pieces. Maggot, it looks to be a lot of new pieces and things like that. Darwin is, it's there. So we'll see, but the Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure will be worth it once the all the figures are here and we have the wave complete. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the review. If you guys liked this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.